Who's there? Reveal yourself.
Nope, not cute.
Look at you. A king amongst his subjects.
King. King!
No. Not cute. Not cute. Dang it! I gave in! This is a good episode. How is everyone doing today, guys? My name's T-Cones, and along with the newly added fan base that can be formed out of this episode with the cute king, baby king. Oh my god, he was so adorable in this. And I'm positive it was voiced. He was voiced. Baby King was voiced by Sarah Nicole Robles. Sorry, it's I'm distracted. Basically, the voice actress that voices Luz, pretty sure she also voiced Baby King. But this episode. Okay, so all right, yeah. So this is Season 2 of The Owl House, Episode 3 or Episode 22 of the series, Echoes of the Past. Now, this was an episode when they released the original list of the first 5 episodes for the season, and that synopsis was, or that little summary was dropped of Lilith, Luz, King, and Hooty venturing to figure out King's past. This was an episode I was excited to see in terms of Boiling Isles or Demon Realm lore for the Owl House. Just what this place was, what King's backstory was, basically all of that. I knew we were going to get some answers, but of course at the same time we were going to be left with more questions, and that's exactly what we got out of this. So yeah. But yeah, this is a good episode in my mind. But let's get right. It is interesting. So it starts with Luz learning a new spell. She learns through the glyph combo that Lilith presented in the last episode. Luz is able to learn invisibility, which is kind of cool, but at the same time, it just caught me on guard. I was like, "Whoa, that was interesting." I mean, how does that combo work though? Because from what we see on the glyph drawing, it looks like just 2 circles with 2 dots specifically placed. So maybe, I don't know. I mean, if we're going based off the 4 glyphs, I don't know. But that's cool. I like how that's invisibility now. Like, so Luz, technically speaking, now knows 5 spells. And I'm really happy to see, even though technically we're not going to be receiving new glyphs per se, we're just going to be learning new combos and spells through that. So we can, technically speaking, we're making new glyphs, but at the same time, we're not, I don't know. I'm just happy we're getting new spells out of that. I talked about what I thought about there only being 4 glyphs in the last episode, so if you want to know my thoughts on that, just go check it out there. But yeah, so Luz learns invisibility, and Lilith, of course, is just baffled by it. She is obviously excited to see how all that is, and Luz says that she figured it out through Lilith's history books, and so Lilith basically gets a little cocky and says, because she is the lead historian of the Boiling Isles, which of course gets King a little riled up. He believes that, he basically talks about being the king of demons, and Lilith questions that because, as she said, she's the lead historian, so she hasn't found anything in terms of a king of demons, so she kind of questions King's mindset. So Luz, of course, wanting to keep King happy and trying not to defuse the situation, I guess, tries to be on King's side, saying like, oh, it's a nice little story, you know, and all that. And obviously King, though, wants to prove Lilith wrong, so he grabs their staffs and they fly off to this mysterious island. And I like how, and oh yeah, before we even get to that part, let's talk about this scene.
Get ready! Porta Hooty reporting for Hooty!
So part of me was wondering how the heck they were gonna get Hooty out of the owl house and into that little birdhouse backpack, but I didn't think they would just go right into it like that. He's just like, it's crazy. I mean, we don't see what happens, but of course, since you don't see what happens, your imagination just takes over and you're like, what did they witness? What caused them to have those facial expressions? It's like, don't want to think about it. So they of course leave, and then Ida comes out, and King left a note, and Ida like freaks out and says, "Oh no, not again!" And I was wondering why she said that, not again. Like, I imagine King has tried to figure out where he came from before. Well, they don't really address it too much in that, like, she doesn't say, like, you've tried to sneak out before to figure it out, you've just, you know, like, she never mentions that part. So, see, the fact that, again, not surprised that King has been trying to figure out his past before, I just wish they showed how he tried to figure out his past before, but here we are with this. So yeah, they find this mysterious island, and as Lilith puts it, it's not on any maps, so this is a completely uncharted area, with this mysterious looking island. Would that be interesting? Okay, it's starting to rain, so let's see how this goes. Not boiling rain, fortunately. But yeah, so King then suddenly gets the respect of Hooty and Lilith, and while that's happening, Luz investigates the ruins more, and she runs into this very intriguing creature that looked just... oh, it's so... As they try to escape, Ida comes in and saves them, and they discover that the creature can't even leave the ruins, so they're safe outside. But unfortunately, with all that happening, King suddenly realizes that maybe, one, Luz wasn't fully on his side, and that Ida's hiding something. So Ida reveals the truth to him, and that being 8 years ago. I found that interesting, how it was this, when she found him, it was only 8 years ago. So he's technically speaking a kid, younger than Luz too. So, you know, so Luz obviously tries to keep King, she tries to comfort King, but obviously King is in full denial as Ida tells him the story of how she found him and why he had this memory of him being these king of demons, because when he was really, really young, he made his little kingdom like when he was a baby, you know, and that's pretty much all of that. That's why he's very it's just, I guess that's how they decided to do it. But I like that. I like how Ida, even though, you know, she was on this mysterious island and she found King and she just didn't really know what to think of him, decided to take him home. And I like that. And we also get to see how King lost his horn, and that was a pretty messed up scene in my mind. You get shot in the head by this arrow thing, by this creature. It's like, dang, I'm gonna talk about trauma for a kid. Oh, speaking of which, there's some creepy imagery in this episode that I think kids would be traumatized by. I mean, come on, just some of these shots, some of these looks. The creature that chases them is super creepy. So, have fun with that, kids. But yeah, so King runs off after hearing the truth from Ida. Luz, and of course the group has to find them, so Luz does. In this really nice little moment on the beach, you know, King is looking off to the ocean and just basically questions everything. You know, he's he's like, this entire time I thought this was real, but the fact that it's fake, you know, makes me wonder what is real and what isn't and all that. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you know, we have those little moments like that. And it kind of makes me think about Luz in season 1. You know, she thought because she was in this new magical world, you know, there would be fantasy and all of that. So she was smacked with reality in the first season. So now King all of a sudden is smacked with reality in this season, in this episode. So it really just hits everyone hard. Like, I'm glad we had an episode that really focused on King's backstory like this, because it brings more depth to his character, but it also shows that anyone really can go through this. So, like, you know, like a kid or a witch or just a demon. It's such a touching moment between the two. And Luz, however, wants to figure something out, though, as King, because King mentioned how when he was younger, he remembered falling, and so Luz theorized that it must have been in the tower because they found this shaft area that goes up. So she figures that must have been where King fell. And a part of me was a little worried about this. I thought she was gonna take King, and they would go to the ruins and not like tell Ida and Lilith and Hooty. But no, I'm glad they teamed up. I'm glad they decided as a group to go back in and get to the shaft, figure out what's up there, and figure out why King was up there or where he came from and all that. And they do. And it leads to easily one of my favorite scenes of the whole episode.
Special delivery! Pain!
You sure they'll be all right?
Hooty knows what to do.
You sure they'll be all right?
I don't know why, just seeing Hooty as this, like, cannon on the side, on the shoulder cannon for Lilith, just being like, pooh, 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 pooh. It's so funny. Hooty's amazing when he is just when he's just unhinged in my mind. Like, he literally just, when he's super happy, when he's super excited, when he's bonding with Lilith, it's fun. I mean, I've never had a moment where I'm like, I don't like you, Hooty. Like, I always loved Hooty from like first saw him in the first episode. So just him here is just, I love it when he just does stuff like that. But yeah, so they go up to the shaft. They at first find nothing, but then King somehow opens up this door, and they find this little room where in the middle we see there's this the shards are shells of an egg, the remains of an eggshell. And pretty much then, you know, King gets his horn back, or Ida had his horn, his broken part of the horn the entire time, but, you know, she gives it back to King so he can put it on and so he can remember what happened, and he remembers a roar when he was in the egg, and he came out of the egg, or all that, you know, the creature comes in and attacks, but since King discovers that he actually is from there, just finds out that he can actually control it, and then King's like, can we keep him? And a part of me was like, yeah, that would be an awesome thing to have, but then I realized, oh wait, it can't go beyond the ruins or else it'll die. And as we find out later, it's in Luz's room just leaning up against the wall. I'm like, no, that would have been awesome. I hope they bring it back. I hope they bring that thing back to life and King can control it, because then he would really have a minion of his army, because that thing is crazy and creepy and cool. But yeah, so all that is awesome. And then to top it all off, Luz fixes King's horn, so now he has his horn back. And the episode pretty much ends with Lilith, Ida, and Luz going over all the pictures that they took of the island and trying to figure out what it is, what it exactly is. And I just get this stinky feeling that this person on the murals is maybe Bellows. I don't know. It could be not. That'd be interesting. But I mean, if it was him, then he let his son nearly get petrified in the season 1 finale. So that's probably gonna be like, oh yeah, that moment. Or maybe they'll try and, I don't know. That's just my mindset right now. So All right, is there anything else? Let's see. No, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much all I got. So really good episode. I really enjoyed this episode. Love mysteries. I'm really glad that we got to try and guess what this place was, where King really came from, why it's uncharted, even though Edith found it, and then King remembers where it is. So, what lies ahead? Well, I mean, next episode, Keeping Up Appearances. Anyone who's read the summary for that episode knows what's coming. So I don't know what that's gonna be like or what we're gonna talk about in that episode, but yeah. Oh yeah, and another thing I want to mention for this episode is this whole episode focused on this story plot, whereas the first two episodes had the main plot and a sub and a B plot. This episode purely just this main plot, and I like that. Not that I'm saying that main plots and B plots are a bad thing. Again, it's just, main plot and B plot usually divide the story because you gotta take time to focus on both of them. Whereas this one, you can focus on this entire story. So I'm glad they did. All right. That's everything? That's everything. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, leave a like. If you want to leave a comment, leave a comment. And if you want to subscribe. You don't have to. I'm just saying. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you in the next video.